And then if you look at that, Devin, it looks like I'm looking right at Devin, Mike.
Teaching, have you stressed? Need to laugh off that disaster of a parent-teacher conference? Ready to indulge in those I wish I could say that moments?
Already signed.
Because you've just pressed play on the top-rated teacher comedy podcast on the planet. It's time for Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers. Here's your host, the teacher comedian himself, Devin Seabold.
Hey, and that audible sigh that came during the intro. We are we are working on some new tech here, and it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to have three cameras going, recording on one thing, recording on the other. I need a producer. I need like an actual guy just to sit over at that chair and
that's all he does.
And just goes, go. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's go. We have gone. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, you're welcome. We went ahead and upgraded our systems a little bit. Greg, the Angry Texan Parrot, is here in studio with me. And then I have Mr. Mike Lee back on the mic.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah, Mike on the mic. It's good,
to
man.
be here. It's funny. You used to have a producer.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And his fat little stubby arms went all the way up to Pennsylvania.
I know.
Yeah, we're going to blame him.
Okay. And then yeah, man, but it's interesting. It's interesting because I'm kind of learning it all myself and trying to figure it all out. And I got a whole new respect for you, Mike. I mean, it's a very difficult task. Although, you know, radio is a little bit different because you're like, click, Madonna's playing, and then that's it.
Well,
I have a 4-minute break.
You have about 7 or 8 minutes to get all of that stuff right again because it always messes up. It doesn't matter when.
Right.
It does.
Do you ever have it to where the music just won't play and then you have to sing it?
Yes. Oh, no.
No, you don't just sing it?
No, but we did have
like Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, one time it completely poo-pooed out, and we didn't have anything in front of us, but we did have what are called cart numbers. And so in order to have fun, because we had no idea what we were programming, we just had people call in and give us like their birth date or maybe their anniversary date. And then we would find the cart number that closely either matched it or was closest to it.
Wow.
And be like, that's your song. And we would play it.
Dude, that's brilliant.
That
sounds like a lot of fun.
It actually was a lot of fun.
That a segment where it's like, all right, you know, today's birthday, this is your cart number. I think you'd have a lot of people calling in.
We have done it since that time. That was out of necessity one time. And since then we've done it a couple of other times just for fun because it does. And it's funny how it sometimes works.
Could I call you up tomorrow in studio and you tell me which song aligns with my birthday?
Yeah, I could do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to ask you.
You got to remember, you can just text me and I can tell you what song it is.
It's raining men.
Yeah, it's funny because it'll be like I would like to send this out to my wife, and then something like that would play, or it would be like My Heart Goes On by Celine Dion. And you're like, how? Wow, that worked.
They really should have some sort of dedication. Prior to that,
right? Yes.
You know, I mean,
long-term dedication.
But
what is it? Long-distance dedication.
Yeah, they have to dedicate it. Yeah. Like, you know,
this one goes out to my high school sweetheart. I just wanted to know that she was always the one, and then it's like I'm too sexy.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm thinking much more like out there. You know, I don't know. My husband was paralyzed in a car accident and then Chumbawamba, I get knocked down but I get up again. You know,
no, like he died. Remember your joke about diabetes, like all of a sudden sugar.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that actually would happen, which made it pretty cool.
That is neat, man.
So things like that happen.
Just quick question. Can you fix this? Because I want you to turn your head and look at Mike Lee. Okay. When I do it, it's looking over there. So I was like,
weird because I'm trying to like,
you know what?
I'm pointing at Devin, but I'm not pointing at Devin.
So I've got a perfect fix for that.
There you go. That's it. Now I'm pointing at Devin.
Now,
Greg.
Okay, now
we're the Partridge Family. We are
the Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch. Yeah.
We get like somebody above us. You're like, shut up down there.
No, it's neat, man. And those of you watching that have no idea, listening on podcasts, it's on YouTube now. We're posting it.
Oh,
on
I was
YouTube.
just about to ask you, is this live? Are we live?
It is not
streaming the
live stream.
video?
This is just record. Now I can live stream it if we
Sure.
wanted to, but this is just record. We'll post it up later.
Okay,
for through the magic of editing.
We did live stream the other day, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was
I
fun.
had a great time. An hour and a half.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's the cool stuff, is doing that kind of stuff online, is in connecting with people is a little different. You can subscribe, by the way, patreon.com/crying in my car. Just so you know, it's been a little revamped. There are going to be videos. So if you get the podcast, extra podcast, you also get the extra video with it, as well as you get advanced look at the videos each week that I post. So you get them a day early. And not only that, but I got a lot of tour dates coming up. Just so you know, I'm announcing, I haven't announced it yet. You are listening to it on the podcast, so you get to hear it first. I'll be in Richmond, Virginia, May 7th, 8th, and 9th. Richmond, Virginia, May 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Funny Bone there. So hopefully you can come out to that. Now, it's been a while since we've seen you, Mr. Mike. You got a show coming up with Killer Bees.
I do. Yes.
Yeah. If you're in
awesome.
if you're in the Florida area, because Killer Bees is amazing. He's outstanding as a comedian.
Yes.
And when's that show, by the way?
It is this Thursday. When is this going to air?
So this will air tomorrow on Wednesday.
So it'll be tomorrow for you. If you're listening right now, the show is tomorrow night.
Yeah, and if you haven't got tickets yet, definitely check that out. That is going to be a fantastic show. Find Mike Lee online and grab those tickets as soon as you can.
The best thing to do is to find Winter Haven Laughs on Facebook. Find Winter Haven Laughs on Facebook, and then there's an event there for Killer Bees. You can get tickets if you're anywhere in the area. It's worth the drive.
And we're also selling them at the restaurant at Tanner's Lakeside.
Nice.
Correct.
So $50 VIP, $20 general admission.
Cool.
We sold a bunch while you were out of town.
I heard. Yeah, I just got the final number today. So
I didn't give you permission to promote your actual business, Greg.
Oh,
I was talking to Mike.
I'm just the manager there, bro.
I don't know.
Great food though.
Maybe I'll invoice you.
Blue wedge salad.
So Mike, a lot of listeners have reached out personally, saying they're sorry for what happened to your father.
Yeah,
your father passed away, and he's a great guy. I met him a few times. He was a gentleman, hysterical, life of the party, walking in the door. And obviously you're going through a lot because you just had to lay him to rest. And how are you holding up, man? It sucks, obviously.
Oh God,
yeah.
I had probably the most you can tell my voice is kind of gone.
Yeah,
it's from crying for 3 days straight.
Right, and that was just because you flew Frontier.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just sitting on the plane like what?
I will say I actually got lucky. I flew Delta on the way there. In
middle seat is clear.
No, middle seat wasn't clear.
Well, that's because they had all those cancellations. You flew the one weekend.
Oh yeah, but flew Delta all the way there. And it was amazing. It was one of those big planes that has two rows of 2 seats on either side, and then three
in the middle.
In the middle. That was the first time I've ever been on a plane.
747.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was pretty nice. Then on the way back, it was American Airlines, a little bit smaller, but they all had the TVs on the back.
Yeah,
I played Angry Birds for 3 hours. It was awesome.
American Airlines is the best.
I watched a movie and played Angry Birds.
We'll get back to talking about your dad in just a second, but I want to capitalize on that real quick. So flying to Australia, there was the weirdest feature I'd ever seen on a plane. Is they had the screens and you could play like a game.
Yep.
You could watch a movie.
Yep.
You could also send a private message to a seat.
You could?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And that was weird because like literally you could type 27A and be like, what's up? And then it would you'd look over and be like, and it'd pop up on their screen and they'd be like,
so weird.
And they'd have to look back at and they'd be like, what? You could, the cool part is you could invite them to play poker.
Oh,
and you can actually play like blackjack poker with them, whoever it was. And technically it's supposed to be for like friends and stuff.
Of course.
But you could send it to anybody.
Who's the hottie on 17C?
And that's the thing is I was like, this could be very misused.
Yes, very much could.
But
to the lady in 27D,
right.
will you shut that damn kid up?
Oh, God.
Or the poker one, like I just beat you, and it's like I'll be coming by shortly to collect.
Oh man, but so that flight obviously
Yeah.
was pretty long. I imagine getting there. Was it hectic? Did you have some time to kind of take it all in, or no?
No, not really. Once we got there, it was pretty much hit the ground running.
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
It's because it's a combination of stress and depression, and it's got all. I mean, you want to grieve, but you almost don't even have time.
Yeah, we got there Thursday afternoon and immediately started getting to work on making preparations, and then that kind of went into the evening Thursday night, and then all day Friday, of course, and then we had 2 celebrations of life because my dad has a lot of friends.
Oh yeah,
and so one was Friday night, and then Saturday, of course, woke up kind of early, got ready for the service, went to the service, and then the second celebration of life was Saturday afternoon, and that one went well into the evening Saturday. So I think I went through like 2 bottles of Fireball and 2 bottles of Jim Beam and God knows how many beers.
So you had an Irish wake, basically.
Oh my God, yes.
Like Brad Pitt from Snatch, whenever.
Lots of crying and drinking, and my liver hurts, and I'm probably going to be the next one in the hospital just because of what I did to myself.
Well, I'm vaccinated, and Greg got his shot. So
well, that's good.
Have you gotten your shot yet?
No, but I got registered. I got registered, but they haven't contacted me. And
they probably called you. You might want to call them.
Yeah.
Lakeland Regional. Yeah, they probably tried to call you.
Maybe here's an idea. Leave a voicemail, you sons of bitches. Oh my God.
It's every time I call you, it's like the mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages. Goodbye.
Wait a minute.
They did
double check that.
They did, by the way, leave a message for me, and then called right back. But this was the interesting thing. So they called me, and I said, I already have the vaccine. I said, I don't need a shot.
Don't need a damn shot.
She goes, okay, I'll take you off the list. I said, thank you. And then they called right back, but it was like immediately. And I thought to myself, that's weird. I'll just let this one go to voicemail. It was probably just like sometimes when you hang up, it automatically calls sometimes. And they left a voicemail for somebody else for their vaccine. And so I had to call him back, and I was like, hey, you might want to tell that guy, I mean, how many people would have just let it go and been like, oh, well, sucks to be them. But I was like, no, that's a vaccine. I should probably call them right now and let them know. But yeah, you can actually just walk into Walgreens. If you qualify, you're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
I was a walk-in.
He's over 40. So
yeah. And
well, they lowered it now to 18
and
plus,
morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the size of me.
I know. Yeah. I mean, geez. But no, you'll be fine. But yeah, so that's good that you were able to have 2 celebrations of life, and have some closure and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man,
it's just the thing that sucked about it, bro. And I mean, I wasn't going to even plan on talking about this, but what really is the hardest thing about it is that he was getting ready to walk out of there.
Unbelievable.
On Friday, he was helping us, like actually actively involved in the conversation of where his rehab facility was going to be.
Yeah.
Because that was his next step, and we needed to get that ready and in line. And that was on Friday afternoon. And then overnight, Saturday night, the brain bleed happened.
And they said that was from the medicine?
They don't know it for a fact. And
dude, I'm telling you, man.
His wife chose not to have an autopsy because she was already through so much, and she was like, his body's been through so much. I don't want to put him through another thing. He had the stroke or the brain bleed, whatever, and it happened, and it's over. And she didn't. So we understood that and respected her wishes. But essentially, yeah, he was taking blood thinners for a blood clot in his leg. They were trying to get that to kind of break up and go through and not go into his lungs or his heart or anything.
Right.
And I guess the blood thinners, I mean, from what my mother was telling me, because my grandmother had the same thing happen to her. My grandmother just barely knocked her head on the side of the bed and got a brain bleed because she was on blood thinners. So that's the only thing we can think of is either, I mean, it's hard to imagine he was just laying there and all of a sudden it happened, but they were giving him physical therapy and all this stuff. So we don't know if something hit, but we do know that it was going on for a few days because there were a lot of signs. We just didn't know what those signs were.
Right.
So if you're listening to this and you have a loved one in the hospital and they're in the same position my dad was, if he starts complaining that his eyes hurt or if the back of his head starts itching, those are all signs that he possibly has a brain bleed, and ask the doctor for a CT scan, because that if we would have known that those were signs, we would have insisted on one and possibly could have saved him. But
No doubt. Yeah.
it just-
But you can't look back
awful.
on that.
I know,
you
but it's just awful. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's what sucks about it. The worst is that you're making all these plans for him to get to go home, and then this BS happens, and you can't do anything about it. So
Yeah. And sometimes it's like the cure is worse than whatever they say.
Well, like they say with cancer, the treatment, if the cancer doesn't kill you, the treatment will. Or
yeah.
whatever.
I mean, my grandfather, he had a stroke a while back, and it was mild, but he was in the ICU for a stroke, and he was like, okay, we're done, and then they were like, oh, but we got to give you this medicine, and we got to pump you full of this and pump you full of that. And I mean, he hallucinated for like a full week, became absolutely just pale and weak, and barely walked out of there. And you're like, wait a minute, you're like, why?
But you guys are almost killing him with the stuff.
I know,
shoving in his body.
But man, that's it's very tragic. And obviously, the fans of Crying in My Car send their condolences. I've seen a lot of compliments and
very much appreciate that.
And my family as well. My family was taken back by the news. My sister sends her best wishes. My mom, and it's hard. It's that kind of stuff is nothing anybody wants to do.
Nobody wants to see it, especially. I mean, everybody was following it.
That long of a fight is just the worst part.
And he was on his way out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So
Angelina's family, if you need any more food,
oh my God, that was the best part. Was the lasagna.
The
best part of grieving was Angelina's lasagna.
You're gonna give Mike a stomach bleed. They're like, sir, your intestine has a acid pH level of 7,000.
Here's the thing about that lasagna is that the night that he found out, and I got off work late, he stayed up late, and I got over to his place. He was already mildly buzzed. Jessica was already night, and as we're talking about life and this, that, and the other, I said, man, is there anything you can do? It's like, this is the part where everybody starts sending for food and flowers. And he said, he goes, oh man, have Angelina make me a lasagna.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have been hammered.
He was. He said, because we're just talking about, food. And I had mentioned before how, amazing she was at cooking stuff. And
I've been begging her for a lasagna forever. I thought she did it out of the goodness of her heart.
I made her slave away.
I just mentioned to her, I said, hey, sweetie, will you make Mike a lasagna? It's like, I think that would help.
And right now it was like 11:30 at night. She was like, everything's closed. He's like, you have to go out to the fields and pick the tomatoes. This is for Michael. He demands it.
Slaughter a
but
cow.
She put it together. Stuff like that makes Angelina very happy. She loves cooking. She loves food, that kind of stuff. So whenever, I told her that you loved it, she was like, oh, I'm happy.
Oh yeah.
So
well, tell her I said double thank you, because I didn't realize that I even said that to you.
Yeah.
That's really.
I thought you remembered.
No, I was shocked
like,
whenever she brought it over. I was like, "Oh my God, she made a lasagna!"
Yeah, I just told her. I just said, "Hey, sweetie, would you mind making Mike lasagna? That'd probably be a good thing right now."
I'm curious as to if we got a few more shots of Fireball, what else he might request of Angelina.
Yeah. No. You have. Here's the thing: it's like now he's going to get drunk.
Stromboli.
Nudes.
Okay, so
I meant noodles. That's what I meant.
This is how you correct the situation. I'm going to have you come stay the night over at her family's house and get drunk, and then breakfast will be made for them.
Oh yeah,
because that's what you do.
Yeah.
The biscuits, that
and Chicago style pizza. I got those two things.
I'm a 100% morning person in terms of breakfast. My breakfasts are
on point.
That's the focus of my day.
Yeah.
I will literally go to bed at night and I'll be like, I can't wait for breakfast.
Breakfast is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, but your joke about him, and that's a true story though. Him getting drunk and baking
biscuits.
Biscuits.
And by the way, Mike, I don't know if you've ever done this. I don't know if you've ever made the leap, but I know you're cheap. I know you are exceedingly cheap.
Yeah. There's no shame. I call it frugal.
Where you need to splurge, and I'm not making this up. Organic, non-hormone, range fed, whatever, grain fed, range free eggs.
Oh yeah,
they're like $6 a dozen. It's expensive.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you right now, you will never have a standard Publix egg in your entire life.
Do you get the
they're bright orange because they're full of beta carotene from what they feed them. So like when you crack it, you'll be like, this is nuclear. Like this looks different. bro.
What about? Do you get the Milwaukee's Best or whatever it is? What are those called? Not
Milwaukee's Best.
We're gonna drink some beast now.
What?
Milwaukee's Best. We
What
make
is it?
we make beer and eggs. Beer and eggs, everybody.
What is it? The something best
by Eggland's
whatever.
Best.
No, there
Eggland's
isn't.
Best.
Yeah.
Eggland's
No, I do
Best.
not
That's
get
it.
I did
Eggland's
think that,
Best.
but there's
Why
also a Milwaukee cheese or something. I know what you're talking about. There's a Milwaukee something.
the
No,
Eggland's
Eggland's Best.
Yeah,
Best.
Eggland's Best. That's
Yeah,
what
but I'm telling you, man, that's not. No, that's. I'm telling
That's
you,
not
look
it?
at the price and find the most expensive.
Yeah.
Make sure it's the grass range free, whatever.
Range free, yeah.
These are the happiest chickens, and I'm telling you, the eggs are night and day.
They make happy little eggs.
Yeah, and my dad told me that. He goes,
They're
he
happy.
said, have you ever had? He said, because my mom's like on health kicks all the time. He said the only thing they splurge on is organic, non-hormone eggs. He said because it's night and day, and it really is.
All right.
What do they
definitely
do?
try.
Like, how do you make the chicken happen? Like in the coop, they have like Phil Collins playing.
There is no
nonstop?
coop. That's the thing.
Yeah,
They're like
they
free
just-
range chickens.
They get to roam and everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I'm
They're
sure they
happy.
have a coop for at night whenever, keep them away from predators or whatnot.
Yeah,
But for the most part, they're like out in the grass fields and stuff.
All right, guys, let's jump into
We got to do this podcast.
teachers in the news. We're doing the
get to it.
podcast.
I know. No, I'm saying
Chaos.
can't keep
We
going on
searched
with food
high
reviews.
and low for the craziest teacher stories this week. Here are your teachers in the news.
All right, teachers in the news. Got some interesting ones. This one, I mean, it's a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse for this lady, a retired teacher who is battling cancer.
Mhm.
Apparently, somebody took some pictures and entered her yard into the local news contest called the Ugliest Yard Contest.
No.
And she won.
Oh, no.
Now, what you win is a makeover of your yard.
Oh, that's nice.
But
So-
talk about a gift and a curse.
was there an old Buick just rotting away
No,
and a stack of tires?
It had just like a rusted fence, and she said it kind of gotten out of hand, and it did look, kind of weird. But apparently, they're digging it all up. They're going to put sod down.
Oh,
they're gonna.
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, it's great that she won it. But let's just say,
How embarrassing.
let's just call it the yard makeover contest. Let's not
Yeah.
call it the ugliest yard. I mean, they don't have like a makeover contest, and they're like, we're running the ugliest face contest. If anybody could enter, yes, Jennifer, ugliest face.
Now, what about-
Congratulations.
And see, it could almost be like a favor if it was a friend who did it. It was like, hey, I'm going to enter your yard in this contest. Is that cool? Yeah, no problem. Thanks. I hope I win. And then she wins. That's awesome. But if it was just like a random neighbor,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like that entered it, then it's like, oh, that's
No,
Quite
that would
insulting.
be fun. That would be fun. I'd be like, Mike, I entered you in this yard contest
Yeah.
here in Winter Haven. Oh, cool, man. Thanks. I hope I win. And then you win the ugliest yard award.
Yeah.
How happy would you be with me?
that's what I'm saying. I would be embarrassed. But then
Mike,
on
I
the other
got you some
hand,
sod.
on the other hand, what if you're the guy who enters this lady and she wins this, $20,000?
And you just have the second
And you-
ugliest.
Yeah, now you have the second ugliest
And
yard.
no
You're like,
new yard.
damn it. I should have entered my own yard.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
If there was that contest here,
Yeah.
I would just have Greg lay in my yard and I'd take a picture. They'd be like, "That's hideous."
Oh my God.
And then
Definitely.
I'd get a brand new yard, and they
We
would just
gotta
come
do
and move
something.
Greg out of the yard. Anyways, so next up, I don't agree with this, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there needs to be something done. A teacher posted a sexually explicit video to Snapchat,
Oh no.
and it was apparently seen by some of her students, but it was
boy.
only up for 15 minutes. Apparently, a colleague called and was like, "Hey, you posted that." They were mortified. It was complete accident.
Yeah.
It was not meant to be posted. And they did an investigation, found she wasn't grooming any of the students. None of the students felt like it was directed at them.
Yeah.
And
that's
looked
too
at her
bad.
phone, and apparently it was just something that was just a complete accident. But
Yeah.
they suspended her anyways. I don't like that. I think that accidents, I get that it was a sexually explicit video, and yes, some of her
Yeah.
students saw it. But I mean, do you think suspension is the right thing to do to somebody that clearly made a mistake? I'd be so embarrassed by it.
You
I
better
think
better put that in a secure file to where it can't be butt dialed.
Yeah, exactly.
You're responsible for your phone.
yeah.
Absolutely. I would say that she's getting fired would be too far. Suspension is
Suspension
hey, don't,
just shows that, hey, if this ever happens to anybody by accident, you will be suspended too.
But like Chris Evans
Yeah.
posted some nudes by accident on his Instagram story.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it.
Right.
We hold him to a different standard because he's not a teacher, I guess. But I mean, who knows?
He's Captain America.
Saw it. Yeah. But what I'm saying is he faced no consequences whatsoever. It was a whoops. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got taken down.
But
I'm sure they're still out there somewhere.
Yeah, they are. I'm sure. But they,
But that wasn't a sexual video.
it was actually a sexual video from Chris Evans. Yes. Feel free to Google it.
But I do think,
No, dude, I don't feel free to Google it.
Don't feel free to Google it because honestly, I was a little bit like, damn, I hate him now
Yeah.
more.
now even more. That son of a.
There's numerous teachers listening to this that are right now Googling Chris Evans
Chris-
nude, and you'll be impressed.
Honey,
Yeah.
I feel like having sausages tonight. No, it was
Vienna.
but the thing is Chris is just an actor and a movie star. Him showing any nudity is kind of almost acceptable, whereas a teacher in charge of kids, of course, is going to be a little less. But all they did was suspend her. That's kind of like a hey, that way it's kind of to the public and to law enforcement or to parents. They can say, look, we disciplined her. It was an accident. We're all going to move on.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
She gets to keep her job.
And it's a message to Chris Evans. If you ever substitute, make sure that you don't.
What did she look like? Do you have a picture over there?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
I mean,
Because let's be honest, that could also have something to do with it.
she could have looked like Susan Bull or something.
Oh
and
my
they're like,
God.
Yeah,
hey,
in that case, fire her.
Okay,
Fire her
on to the next.
immediately.
On to the next one. A Chicago teacher. This is the most interesting story I've ever had on this entire podcast.
Okay.
A Chicago teacher whose grandfather apparently was in Lithuania at the time of the occupation of the Soviet Union and the Germans. So this is during World War II.
The Germans.
He is apparently a hero over there, like to the level of like General MacArthur.
Okay.
Like somebody that Ulysses S. Grant, that we sit here and they all know him. You go to Lithuania, you
Right.
mention her grandfather's name. She lives in Chicago now.
then they have a parade for you.
They have literally streets named after this man because he was a hero and a savior that supposedly was this big wartime, celebrity.
Yeah.
Her grandfather died, and he asked that she write a book to honor him.
Okay.
A family book.
Sure.
You write the book, tell everybody about our stories, and you're good to go. Make some money off of my legacy. Why not, right?
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting. She did some research, did some public records research, talked to some people, did some very in-depth interviews, and published the book. And it threw Lithuania into chaos because apparently this national hero that they had, she uncovered that he was actually collaborating with the Nazis and facilitating the extermination of thousands of Jews during this entire time.
Did she love her grandfather?
Yeah, apparently. But apparently in Lithuania, they have this book that they said it's been a huge toxic debate over there about these Lithuanians because I guess that everybody has painted this picture that they were resistant, but the actual picture may be more that they were involved.
Wow.
Because between the war in the middle of the war, I didn't know this either. 95% of the Jews in Lithuania were exterminated.
Wow.
200,000 of them were massacred, it says, by the Third Reich. And this whole time, I guess it was we're resisting. And they had these huge fairy tales about her father of no, you can't, and I'm hiding them and all this other stuff. And then she had apparently these revelations as she started to research that apparently he had been guiding them onto trains and saying goodbye, see ya, and in exchange for protection and all this other stuff. And he ended up in a camp as well, and he spent 2 years in a concentration camp, but lived to tell the tale. And then you kind of wonder, how do you live for 2 years? And, what were you doing? Were you?
No, that's probably his thing. Is they made a deal with him, like, hey,
Maybe,
you give us up all these people, we'll just give you 2 years and we'll let you live.
Yeah, but apparently the Lithuanian leaders, as she started to research more and more into this, she uncovered that more and more, like it ran deeper. It wasn't just him. It was like the leaders of the country, like started to, were actually responsible for 95% of the Jews being exterminated in their country.
Wow.
So now they've got
You heard it here
country with roads named after him.
Yeah.
And they're having to kind of battle with it. Like, what do we do? You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna have to rename all that stuff. Wow, that's such a crazy story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's going to be a movie. Steven Spielberg's listening to this podcast right now going,
right. The last one.
The Nazi hunters are still catching people. Wasn't it what a month ago?
Mhm.
They got that dude
Yeah.
in Tennessee.
I just watched a documentary with Brad Pitt about hunting Nazis.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like,
Called,
It's a documentary.
yeah.
Or Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah, it's called Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
I
a fantastic
saw it
documentary.
on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Disney Plus.
So
By the way, Paul Pierce, tip my hat. You're gone.
So, last story is pretty amazing. There was a Global Teacher Award in 2018. I did not know anything of this. Do you want to guess how much money the world's best teacher was awarded?
$100,000.
$1 million.
Ooh, 1 million.
Yeah.
Nice.
Andrea Zafaruku, and I'm positive I mispronounced that last name.
Yeah.
She apparently won $1 million, and she got invited by limousine to Downing Street. She is a UK citizen, and
okay.
she got to meet the Prime Minister at the time, Theresa May.
How very
And
nice.
she also got to meet Nick Gibb, who is the schools minister.
Mhm.
And then she
And-
did a shot with Boris Johnson.
No, here's what's interesting.
And then she had a spot of tea.
This is probably solidifies why she is the world teacher. You know, you see that stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
give me a break. World teacher,
Yeah,
world best.
global, whatever. Yeah.
You know, how much better could she be?
Was she like Sandy Duncan and stuff, or
No.
what's going on?
Apparently, the minister of the schools in
Mhm.
England, in front of the cameras, offered her a job and said, I'd like you to be in charge of recruitment of teachers within all of England. You can,
Okay.
you know, do what you're passionate about, find the best teachers and guide us on how we can improve education. And she said, no. On national TV, I don't think the government's done enough to support the arts. You introduced an exam, apparently, that is hard for the kids to pass. The British fashion industry is the best designers in the world, and you killed the textile curriculum, my curriculum. Where will the designers of the future come from? And apparently he tried to speak, and she interrupted him and said, no, in my world, I teach children who often have English as a second language. The arts are one of the handful of subjects, along with math, that give them a level playing field. Why is this not important to the government that you run?
Wow.
Apparently she's been waiting for this
Oh,
moment.
yeah. She had it
And-
written out. She was like, this is my time.
And this is the interesting thing. She's still on teacher salary. She took that $1 million and started up her own arts grant program,
Oh,
like
cool.
a nonprofit.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so she didn't profit anything off of the $1 million. Like,
I mean, she could have at least bought herself a new car or something.
could have, you
Yeah.
know, but apparently she's
I'm gonna
you know,
take
maybe-
selfless.
900.
Maybe open up a school that for design.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that
$1
might be
million.
something.
She could have done that.
Yeah, she could have, but apparently
But
she
still,
wants
the grant thing is
government
awesome.
should pay for it. That's
Yeah.
the thing is that was her argument, is it was there and now it's not. You know,
Right.
why take that money away? Why take these dreams away? You know, I didn't know the British were like the fashion industry, like gurus. I always thought like Americans, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
like
I think-
Calvin Klein,
I think that the,
Tommy Bahama.
No,
you know,
dude, their
No.
fashion is god awful. They come
Yeah.
over here to Orlando and they're wearing them stupid high waist, and girls are pulling their pants all the way up underneath their armpits.
No, the
and
fashion capital of
it's
the world
stupid.
is Milan, which I think is
Is
in
it?
France.
Italy?
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
Milan's in Italy.
Is
It's
it
in
Italy?
Italy,
Oh, why would I say? Yeah,
God.
okay, I don't know.
and
Anyway,
Paris,
but-
France, probably.
Right,
has-
right.
Yeah.
But Milan is
London.
the
New York.
fashion capital of the world. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Yep.
where people that look like sticks walk around with little
Yeah,
dresses.
yeah.
Funny, stupid stuff.
Yeah, that too. All right. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to this episode of Crying in My Car podcast for teachers. Do you have a D haul?
Yes,
Oh,
I
you do
do.
have a D haul.
Oh
Let's go
my
ahead and go into the
God.
D haul real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. So, Angry Texan D haul. Here we go.
Does this delinquent deserve detention or devotion? You decide. This is D Hall with the Angry Texan.
What you got for us, buddy?
Guys, we're going to dive into one of the sensitive subjects these days, which is
Mhm.
bullying.
Okay.
I always thought bullying was getting better over the years, like it was getting better.
Well, once you got out of school, I'm sure it decreased significantly.
Thank you. As myself, I was bullied really bad in school, and it made me awesome. I'm probably angry all the time because of bullying. I read this story here, and I tagged it a while over a month ago, and we didn't do a D haul. So when I was looking for a good D haul, I was like, oh, I forgot about this. This happened over a month ago. Plano, Texas. So disappointed. What is the worst bullying anything that you've ever heard?
There was the girls over here in Lakeland that bullied a girl online until she jumped off of a 3-story building and killed herself.
There's a few suicide. Yeah. There's even parents that have started up, fake accounts to cyberbully another person. It's crazy.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah. This one that I read out of Plano, Texas, the more I read it, the more I was like, okay, this kid and his mom deserve to sue and get money. This kid was bullied by his own classmates, his football team, everything. And he ended up quitting football. But here's the worst part. The guys that were his friends, he thought were his friends, they had a sleepover. And everybody over there bullied him and made him drink a cup full of urine.
Yeah.
And it just goes in. Then every time the kid would say, go to a teacher at school, say, hey, I'm being bullied, the excuse the parent or the teachers and the coaches and stuff were saying, like, well, boys will be boys, they're just, kids will be kids. And no, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
And the weird thing is I'm a dad now, and I could not imagine hearing a story from my child that my kid, he came in and he's like, Skylar pushed me down, and I'm like, where does Skylar live?
It's hard for me to hear a story like that because I don't understand it. I used to get bullied too until I popped that sucker right in the nose, and then he didn't bully me no more. Yeah. And I just don't understand how it gets to a point where the kid, and I hate to make it sound like he is the victim, but he at some point did his father or a father figure not say, if this ever happens again, knock him in the damn teeth and they'll stop.
Well, apparently I've read nothing about the father. It's all the mother. And she writes this thing. Imagine being a happy kid who loves making people smile and having a good time. Imagine your classmates and football team members turning on you and targeting you. Imagine a group of those same football team members attacking you in the locker room with a belt. Imagine being hit in the private areas when you tell an adult that you're hitting the privates, and then you go tell an adult and they say, oh, boys will be boys. Then she says, imagine being forced to drink the urine of not only a boy who thought you was your friend, but his friends. Imagine the video of you drinking that urine got sent to multiple people in the school. Imagine the school telling you they can't do anything about it because the incidents didn't take place on campus. And then she goes on to say, my son doesn't have to imagine these things. They are his reality.
I think that the urine thing is actually like a legal standing too. Like, I think you can literally go to the police and be like, hey,
it started on. So I hope she sues the ever living crap out of Plano ISD and wherever that sleepover happened. Guess what? I hope the mom sues them and then takes that kid's house and then they're homeless. There, right. I said it. That pisses me off hearing stuff like that.
But at what point? Hold on, let me ask you this.
Opened himself up just to be a kid.
Let me ask you this. These guys are all their friends. I used to get hazed in the locker room too. They would get the wedgies and all that stuff. When I was a freshman and even a sophomore, the seniors and the juniors would always pick on the younger kids.
But there comes a point where the kid says stop.
Right, exactly. So did that happen? And here's the reason, and I don't know anything else except for what you're telling me. But is it possible that he was dared to do this, they videotaped it, and then he got embarrassed because they sent it out, and now he has to tell his mom that they forced him to
no, because there's documentation of him being bullied throughout the school. He quit football because of bullying.
My reason on that is it's really hard to actually make somebody drink something. Does that make sense? Unless they were holding him down and pouring it down his throat. Possibly. At that point, they are forcing him to drink it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or if you're going to get beat up.
But I haven't seen the video. I don't know anything. I don't
think the video's up. But regardless, I'm giving the entire ISD and all those parents that allowed this bullying to continue. Y'all are D-Hall. Y'all are pieces of crap. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching this, I don't like you, Plano. I used to love going to your town. I used to love going up there when I lived in Dallas. You're stupid. I don't like you, Plano. You're dumb.
All right, that's
Bullies.
the Angry Texans D Hall. Be sure to send any of your ideas to the Angry Texan Gmail. What's your Gmail now? Madeamerica@gmail.com,
Yeah.
actually.
No,
And American Made
podcast.
American Made Podcast @gmail.com. Crying in My Car @gmail.com as well. Check out my podcast, not my podcast, my tour dates at devoncomedy.com. What do you got coming up, Mike?
Check out Winter Haven Laughs on Facebook and follow Mike Lee Comedian on Facebook as well for any tour dates and the big show coming up Thursday night at Tanner's with Killer Bees.
And Greg, what do you got?
I got Killer Bees on Thursday night, Made in America this week, and new videos coming out with more of the extended warranties. Those are pretty fun.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys, for tuning in, and we'll be back next week with a brand new edition of Crying in My Car, a podcast for teachers.
Be sure to subscribe and rate this podcast 5 stars. Submit all your awesome teacher stories to